guys, and welcome to Hubcityfibers episode 18. My name is Lillian. I am your host. This is a yarn-friendly, spinner-friendly, weaving-friendly now podcast where I will talk about my fiber life. So if you're interested, definitely hit the subscribe button if you like to talk about those things or to hear about them while you're doing them. I am living in the central New Jersey area. I am the independent dyer behind Hubcityfibers, which is also known as New Brunswick, New Jersey. And you can find me on Instagram, which is where I'm most active. I am at Hubcityfibers. And, you know, every episode I talk a little bit more about why I do this and why I share kind of like my fiber story with you. And I think it's a good, I think it's a really good idea to be able to share my making life and to maybe inspire others to add items to their wardrobe that is handmade. I think there have been a lot of conversations on Instagram about the importance of being able to share information, and we have this gift to be able to share information, and knowing how most of the clothing industry or the garment industry functions. If you can, you know, replace an item that you wear for a season, that makes a huge impact, you know, and I think it's important to talk about that. And yeah, that's why I do this, and also because I freaking love it. So yes. So the name of this episode is going to be something rosé because it's like the first hot day in New Jersey. So you know what they say, frosé at the first sign of heat. So I will be sipping on a little bit of rosé. And I encourage you guys too to sip on a little bit of rosé. So in this episode, I'm going to be talking about what I'm making, my finished objects, and what else will I talk about? I will be talking about my personal life, which you can find in the chit chat segment at the end of the podcast. And yeah, one final thing before we jump right into the episode. I want to thank all new viewers. Thank you so much. I did receive a lot of enthusiasm for the last episode where I talk about Edinburgh Yarn Festival. And if you're a returning viewer, thank you so much for listening to me talk about knitting and yarn. You would think, I honestly can't believe that people actually watch me. It's still kind of strange, but yeah, it's a lot of fun. I'm having a lot of fun with it. So I know it's been kind of a while since I podcasted. I think my last episode was 3 weeks, but I'll talk a little bit more as to why that happened. So let's jump into what I am making. So I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I have not been having a good knitting, what's the term? I haven't been knitting pretty much. It's been really bad. I've been in and there, and I run a knit club at work, so all day I just spend fixing other people's projects and just helping them out with the projects that they're working on. So it's a little tiresome for me to kind of then come home and then, you know, knit on my own projects. So I have been spinning a lot though, so I'll show you some of that. And yeah, let me show you. I have been working on for like months now, and I've spoken about this, but I never showed it, and I remembered to bring it back home. So this is my knitting project that I've been working on. It's by Cat Sandwich Fibers in her Aurora Borealis colorway, and it is a beautiful, beautiful color. It is like turquoisey with all these beautiful speckles. And MJ, who's the dyer behind Cat Sandwich Fibers, is amazing. And this is her logo, Cat Sandwich Fibers, and the info of the yarn. And she's local to New Jersey, and she's freaking awesome. Love her. She's like really, I know that she's like selling her stuff. Like I know she was at Allentown Festival Fiber Festival as well as Vogue Knitting Live, and I'm so happy for her. She's doing really well. And yeah, this is my sock that I'm working on. We're using her Aurora Borealis colorway. And that's what it looks like. It's like a micro stripe, so it's really cute. I can't wait to wear it. And this is my little Taco Progress Creeper that I have been using. And yeah, I'm just doing, the sock pattern that I'm using here is, the sock pattern that I am using are the, what pattern is this? I use this pattern all the time. I will put it right here. But it's my standard go-to sock pattern. When I teach new knitters how to knit, I usually use this pattern. And I just increase the cuff and the leg, and then I just go from there. But it's a pretty standard free pattern, and it's my vanilla pattern that I use for socks, my vanilla sock pattern. So this is my first sock. I've been kind of bad, and yeah. And the needles I'm using here are my double pointed needles, because I'm a double pointed needle girl. And it is the Knitter's Pride Flexi, or not the Flexi Flips, but the Knitter's Pride Carbons double pointed needles, and I'm using size 1. And yeah, that is the only knitting project that I've been working on pretty consistently. I do have the husband sweater, but again, I'm gonna probably rip back because the Jared Flood pattern I'm working on is kind of, I'm up to the part where the armpits are, and honestly it's just not very clearly written. I've heard before that a lot of Jared Flood's patterns just aren't very intuitive, and correct me if I'm wrong. If you guys are a die-hard Jared Flood designer fan, let me know down below. I don't know. I just haven't had really much any luck with his patterns. Maybe I'm a dumbass. I don't know. One of the charts that I'm using is just the text is so small and it's just not reader friendly, if that makes any sense. So probably going to cast off or rip back and just knit on like the Flax by Tin Can Knits, who I've heard from many people is an amazing pattern. And it's summertime, so I don't really think the husband really cares. So yeah. So yeah, that's pretty much it for what I've been making knit wise. If you guys are interested in my spinning segment, I'm going to talk about my spinning. So I showed you guys some fluff that I brought back from EYF, and that is and this is it. And I am so happy with the outcome. It is so pretty. And I'll show you guys a little snippet of what this yarn looks like in fluff form right here. It's these beautiful like chartreuse little bits of turquoise with some like fire clay red and lots of stellina really blended well. And this is not what roving usually looks like, just because I've never seen like blended roving. So I'm really, really, really excited to spin this and see how this turns out. But this is just, it's like brown and blue and red and gold stellina, and I don't know what in the world I'm gonna make with this. I might even put this up for sale, so if you guys are interested in that, let me know. So that's that. And yeah, I'm like really loving spinning. It's just really easy to just come home, not have to look at a pattern, not have to read anything, and just knit or spin. I'm pretty sure I showed you guys all my other spinning. This was another yarn that I spun. This is like one of the rovings that I made, and it's just a little sample. This is the first thing I hand spun. It's just a Mod Podge of different fibers that I had lying around, mostly Shetland. And then this is some Wensleydale. And that is in some colors that are totally my style. And I've been spinning, this is what I've currently been spinning. This is what I have on the bobbin. And it is a beautiful, beautiful blend carded bat that I got from one of my lovely friends, Max. And it is 40% South African Merino, 34% Corriedale, 20% Merino Targhee, 5% Tussa Silk, and 1% Firestar. And he is knitting Fagala on Instagram. So if you guys are interested, yeah, he's awesome. He's a fabulous knitter. And he also made this wonderful, 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 wonderful sweater using my yarn. And I will show a picture of that probably on Instagram, which is another reason why you guys should definitely follow me along on Instagram. I'm at Hubcityfibers. I'll put that in the down bar. And yeah, that's pretty much what I've been working on. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I have a lot of and like, I don't want to say anxiety, but it's really difficult to be a content creator and constantly be thinking about what's the next thing that you're going to be creating. And I've kind of been like in a little bit of a funk, so I'm taking it as it is. I'm just going with the flow. I don't want to take away from enjoying the whole fiber art or just making in general. Like, I don't want to force myself to do something. And I've expressed this in the past on the podcast, so you guys aren't new to that. The next thing I'm going to be spinning, I showed on my last podcast, and it's this yummy, 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 yummy fiber. So I'm excited to spin that. If you guys want to know more about this, check out the Edinburgh Yarn Festival podcast. And the hand spun that I just recently showed you that I finished is actually from Spin City as well. What a lovely, lovely, let me just show this off again. What a lovely artist. She is really talented. You could tell how well she is, how good she is at her job, because she just makes fabulous items, like beautiful, just stunning, stunning, really easy to work with. And yeah, I can't rave more. If you can get your hands on Spin City and you're a spinner, do so. My next segment I'm gonna talk about is a little new to the podcast. And it is going to be called Shawl and Tell. And this is where I'm going to show you some previous shawls that I have made in the past that I maybe did not show on the podcast. So, yeah, it's a little bit of a filler for the podcast. So if you're interested, if you're not. So here we are. I'm going to show you a Stephen West shawl that I made, and this is when I was fairly new at knitting. And you know, everybody loves to knit a Stephen West. If you are a knitter and you have not knit a Stephen West, please just stop this podcast right now, go on Ravelry, look up Stephen West, and just knit one of his patterns. Just do it. You want to do it. It's something you got to do. And so I'm going to be talking about the Marled Magic. Yay! It's a hot mess of a shawl. And yeah. This is it. This is my Marled Magic. You could see through the mesh. And I'll just talk about all the yarns that I used on this. And this is kind of like a quilt style shawl. But this yarn right here is one of the... So this blue yarn right here in the middle, this triangular blue yarn, is the first ever hand dyed yarn that I ever knit, and that was dyed about 4 years ago. I've been dyeing yarn for Hubcityfibers now for 3 years. Our anniversary is in October, so yes, that's really exciting. This one, I can't even tell you what kind of yarn this is. This is before, when I was a noob and I didn't know anything about writing things down or anything like that. This one is my Squid Ink colorway, which I never wrote down, but it was once a colorway that people loved. That's my Squid Ink. This is a Noro yarn, and you could tell that this is a Noro yarn. If you've ever knit with Noro, you would know this is very classic Noro. This yarn right here, that's blue, is dark blue, is a yarn that I got when I was in Italy. And in Italy, I got like acrylic cotton yarn because that's all they freaking had, which is fine. I put it in the shawl, so it's all good. Then right here is another yarn that I dyed. And this is mixed with mohair. And then my favorite part of this is when I'm really cold is this yarn. And this is my hand spun too, and it's held with some mohair. And it's my squid ink held with some Aquafina in mohair. And it is literally the only part that keeps me super, super warm. And I did a dark mohair and then a light mohair. So it's the same base color, but the mohair. So you have a subtle ombre. And yeah, that's this shawl. That's all I have for you for shawl and tell. I hope you love this segment. If you do, let me know in the down bar because that would be fantastic to know. I did have another shawl, but you know what? I'm gonna save that for another time because I only have so many shawls to show you guys. It's slow fashion, right? So I'm going to head into the chit chat segment, which is where I talk about my personal life and what I did. And if you guys follow me on Instagram, you already know that I took a weaving class. Yes, yes, yes. I took a weaving class. And this all came about because my husband, Steve, just randomly approached me and he goes,
Lillian, I think I want to be a weaver.
And I was like, what? You want to be a weaver? And he was like,
yeah, I think I want to buy a loom.
And I said, wait, hold on a second. Let's not jump into buying a loom just yet. Let's go to a class to see if you actually like it, because he really likes the mechanics of weaving. He really likes the whole setup, which was always something that kind of turned me off about weaving. Granted, I always did like paper looms and stuff like that when I was much younger, so like I like weaving. I think it's fun, but damn, after this class, I want to be a weaver. Like I want to have a floor loom. I want to be a full-time weaver and a knitter and a spinner. And so here comes the projects that we made. So I'll show you my bag first, which I've already been using, so don't mind. But this is my first hand spun, wait for it, hand dyed, hand spun, hand dyed, hand carded, hand spun, hand dyed, I don't know if I already said that, and hand woven. Yeah, I went there. This is like OD handmade, but this is the weaving project, which was made into a bag, and it was a 3-hour class that I took at this place called the Weaving Hand, which is actually was located in at Pratt, which is an art school in New York City, but this was in Brooklyn particularly, and it was held by this weaving artist named Cynthia. And she actually went to school for weaving, and she is just, you could tell she's really talented. They offer all these crazy classes on Tibetan weaving, Guatemalan weaving, all the fun. If you live in the New York, New Jersey area, I highly, highly recommend visiting the Weaving Hand. And yes, look at this. This is beautiful. And I'll post some footage at the end of like us actually weaving this. But this is my yarn right here. This is my hand spun. And I believe I showed this to you guys. We are about to weave.
Where did my glasses go? Oh, there it is. It's on the table. Okay, thank you. Thank you. All right, so you guys are gonna have fun. Okay, here it is. Okay, left, so that means it's a lock. I'm gonna put my shuttle through. I have a little bit of a tail. I beat. If that's the next pedal, I'm going to tuck my tail so we don't have anything coming. I'm still on the right pedal, and I just beat. And then I press the next pedal, and then so you just go back and forth. And then you can change color if you want to have a little.
I believe I showed this colorway to you guys a while ago. If you don't remember, I'll post a photo here possibly. But This is my favorite side because it has this like this little bit of like curly cues. And yeah, it was so much fun. It was so much fun, guys. So I'll show you Steve's. I do believe that Steve did actually make a better weaving bag than me. But this is his. His is a little longer too. He did a really good job. And then in the back, it's a little different. He did like a very simple black and white. And then he did a little bit of my yarn as well. So yeah, obviously I'm repping both of these bags. They're mine to wear. And yeah, it was a lot of fun. All right, guys, so I'm definitely going to end the episode here. If you like what you saw, definitely hit the subscribe button and the little bell. I know a lot of YouTubers use that. They say hit the bell if you want to be reminded when